Hey guys, welcome to my 1000 subscriber celebration and movie news video. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Thank you guys so much. I just want to say, first and foremost, that hi, my name is Kwana, and I would love to be your movie bestie. And this has been such a monumental journey. And I just thank you guys so much. It has been 5 long years on YouTube and finally made it to 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that and for your support. If you stumble upon this video after the live, don't worry, it will be some good replay value. I promise, I promise, I promise. Um, but yeah, I just really wanted to hop on. Thanks. I just wanted to hop on and, talk about movies with you guys and get to know you all a bit better. This is over here with the real fam and really want to be real fam, find out what you guys are thinking, what movies you're excited to see, what TV shows you're currently watching, all of those things. So yeah, thank you guys so much for your just continued support. Um, why is that not doing what I want it to do? That's a good question. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's exciting. It's been a long 5.5 years, hasn't it? I really wanted that to be not what that's doing. We'll see how we can fix that later. All right. So happy Sunday to you guys. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday. It's Grammy Sunday. Let me know in the comments if you are planning to stay up and watch the Grammys tonight. There's not a lot of acts that I'm super excited to see, but I've heard whispering that there is going to be a Tina Turner tribute. I noticed that they added some last minute additions to the roster. Said nope to that. We'll not be doing that. Um, they added some last minute additions to the roster. Annie Lennox was added, Brandy was added. So my guess is that, to my knowledge, neither one of them have new music that's super out and popping or up for any Grammys. So I'm definitely thinking, especially with Annie Lennox's voice, that she's definitely probably going to be taking part in that Tina Turner tribute. I've heard some whisperings that a certain Queen Bee might show up as well. Her husband is planning to be in attendance, and I was kind of surprised by that. And they canceled the Rock Nation brunch. So my guess would be maybe they canceled the brunch so that she could continue to prepare. I don't know. Just, what a little birdie, whispered could be happening. So that's, I guess, something to look forward to. And then, of course, next Sunday is the Super Bowl. Next Sunday is the Super Bowl. And I have no skin in the game for this year's Super Bowl, but let me know in the comments who you are rooting for. It's the Chiefs and the 49ers. Yep, I know stuff. Nerds can know stuff about sports too. So that's pretty exciting, I guess. I'm excited for Usher. I'm excited to see Usher put R&B on center stage at the Super Bowl and do what Usher does. Go Panthers. Don't think Panthers are in this one. Don't think they made it. Sad to say. Okay, so let's talk some movie. Let's talk some movie shop. Along the way, I guess I will answer some questions for those of you who maybe stumble upon this and are looking for someone to keep you up to date with the new movie news and just movie reviews. This will be your way to get to know me a little bit better. My style of reviewing over here is we grade on a curve. We understand that movies exist within genres, and genres cannot be measured across the board with one scale. And so we kind of have a sliding scale and we give a lot of grace. Um, the most important elements to a good movie are, of course, story and chemistry and believability, and everything else is just, bells and whistles. We love to see it. We love to see it. So let's talk about some movies. I would love to know what you guys are excited to see. I was going to do a video of my top 12 most anticipated movies of the year and set about working on a thumbnail for that and could not come up with 12 movies that I was super excited to see this year. At least not on a month by month basis. So January, my most anticipated movie was The Kitchen, and it came out and it was decent. It was a decent coming of age dystopian kind of sci-fi movie. If you haven't seen it, there is a review up on the page. Check it out. I thought that it was decent. I think I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, and I think I gave it a B- here on the channel. I thought it was good. I wanted to see a little bit more development in the character's backstory, because the main character, we really don't find out how he relates to this world as much. And it felt like it was supposed to be a dystopian heist movie, and then the heist happens towards the end, and it's such a small part of the movie that I was a little disappointed in that. Would have loved to see more than that, but it was pretty decent. And it was directed by Daniel Kaluuya, his first directing film, so his directorial debut. So good one. This month, my most anticipated film is One Love, the Bob Marley story, starring Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch. I love Lashana Lynch. She is just magical. She's wonderful. Miss Honey, Woman King, she can do no wrong in my book. So I'm trusting that the movie is going to be good simply by the fact that she is in it. And I love Kingsley, but I do feel like she tends to have a solid batting average when it comes to picking a good script. So I'm really excited to see that. And I get to see it 2 days before it's released. I think it releases on Valentine's Day. So hopefully I will be reviewing that for you guys. Let me know if you've seen the trailer for it. In March, there is the American Society of Magical Negroes. Now listen, that title is a lot, okay? That title is a lot. Let me see if I can find that for you guys. American Society, the American Society of Magical Negroes. And when the teaser trailer came out, everyone was super excited to see it. And then they released the full trailer and everyone was super, super frustrated. And so I don't know how well it's going to perform now because of that. Here is one of the thumbnails or the trailer. Yeah, I think that it's okay. Let's be honest. We're living in a day and age where people's expectations on movies is really, really high. And there is an expectation for movies to be perfect, to be without flaw, to meet every need of their audience. But I think we forget that the people who make the movies, the people who write the movies, they have their own wants and desires of what they want to see. So what we do know about the movie is, yeah, there are Black people. And yes, they possess a magical ability. And it's a scathing critique on how society forces Black people to have to conform and yield for their white counterparts in order to stay safe in society. But it's a comedy I think they've added romantic elements in it, and I think it's one of those things we have to wait and see. I think it's not fair to judge it simply off of its trailer, because we know that there have been trailers released before that were like nothing like what the movie was going to be. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. I don't think, you know, David Alan Grier is in it, and he has made he's been on this like little acting kick recently where he's been playing like the kind of jokester grandpa uncle kind of figure. But I still feel like he is very well intentioned. And also the actress who plays Hen from 911 is in it, and I love her. So um, it seems like it. I think it will be a good movie. Definitely, I think it'll be funnier if you um, see it in background. Yes, see it in background. But I think people were wanting it to be Black Harry Potter, and I think people have to forget that, one, this is obviously made for adults, and two, that will come. That will come. They are making Children of Blood and Bone into a movie, and I'm sure at some point the Marvellers will become a movie. So I think we'll get that. Yeah. Now here's a movie I'm excited to see, but I haven't actually seen the original, and it's the Godzilla versus King Kong movie. Now they just did the King Kong movie, or Godzilla Black and White, and I didn't get a chance to see that in the theater, and I think they re-released it. So I'm definitely hoping. I think that's supposed to hit HBO perhaps, or Max. Have to keep seeing Max, even though we all know it's HBO. But I've heard nothing but amazing things about that movie. But it is, you know, you have to like plan to see it when you're not tired, because there are subtitles. But I'm excited to see that. I think the artwork for that looks really interesting and really good. Yeah. So that brings us to April. April's not looking like a great movie month. Sorry. But May is where things start to turn around with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And that is looking like it's going to be fire. I think that's going to be so good, so amazing. And then Inside Out 2 in June. And then that's where my excitement for this year in film begins to kind of wane a little bit. And I am not sure what will come after that will get me super excited. I think we're at this like little juncture where, because of the strikes, so much stuff got pushed back that there will be a lot of things that are going to be really interesting, but they're not coming out until 2025. I think not Daredevil. That's the show. Deadpool. It's like brain fart. Deadpool comes out. I'm excited for Deadpool. I'm excited to see Ryan and Hugh together again to correct what the disaster that was Wolverine. So I do think that that will be good, but I will say that I'm not super excited. I'm not like giddy with excitement. I don't want to use the phrase comic book fatigue, because I don't really believe that's a thing. But I will say that I'm not excited about any of the properties, because I'm not in love with any of the properties that are slated to come out. The properties that I am in love with don't have anything on the rise. And I think I'm a little disillusioned because the general public did not like some of the movies that I actually enjoyed. And so it just kind of makes me not super excited for the comic book landscape that's coming out. But you know, I do think that the shows are on the rise, and I'm looking forward to see, especially the Marvel shows. I'm looking forward to seeing if Disney can right the bus and bringing back some of the characters from the Netflix shows, if they can bring that same style and substance now that they're on Disney Plus. So, Echo, Daredevil. There are rumors that Jessica Jones is coming back. So that'll be interesting to see. It'd be really great if we could get a conclusion to Luke Cage, just in case someone from Disney Plus or Marvel happens to stumble upon this video at any point in time. That would be chef's kiss. All right, so I want to take a moment to answer any questions that you guys have. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat and I will answer them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward. I put on my vision board that I really wanted to get to 1,000. I felt like we were like teasing. It was like right there. I could just reach out and grab it. And so I was like, I really want to get 1,000 this year. And I put on my vision board for like 3,000, I think. So I don't know why I said that was going to be the next hurdle, but yeah. So we shall see. We shall see. I guess one of the most common questions that I get is about just like why I started the channel. And I started the channel just because I love movies. And I wanted to teach film. I had gotten the opportunity to teach a film class and then it was taken away. And so I had to start a film club with my high school students and it was amazing. We watched good movies together. We worked on short films together and that was really, really, really fun. But it took me so long to be able to come back to that. And I didn't want to constantly be waiting for opportunities. I wanted to make my own opportunity. And so it was actually, I want to say that I stumbled upon Sharonda Williams's Pay or Wait channel. And that's when I was like, I could do that. I could not necessarily do what she does because she's so fantastic and she does interviews and she's amazing. But I was like, I need people to talk to about movies. And I don't have a ton of movie lover people in my life and like to like break movies down and analyze them the way I do. So I was like, well, maybe if I get on the internet and talk to strangers, I will fulfill that burning desire to break down movies. So that is how I got started. And more or less, it really was that and Handmaid's Tale. And This Is Us. I was like, I need someone to talk about The Handmaid's Tale too. So let me do this. All right. What was the greatest takeaway from the journey to 1,000 subscribers? I think just not to give up. There definitely were like moments where I waned and moments where I waned in doing it, where I kind of got into my little funks and just couldn't find the energy or the motivation to get up and make a video and couldn't do it. And that I could have given up and it would have been easy to give up. And I was like, this is insanity. I'm getting on a computer. I'm recording myself talking for strangers to watch me. And that's insane. But the overriding feeling was, but I love talking about movies. And if I can help someone even a minutia amount understand a movie or something that they saw in a movie or a show better, that's amazing. That would be wonderful. And so I guess like this is other than marriage, this is probably the thing, marriage and faith. This is the thing that I've stuck with the most. So in my job, but I feel like you can't give up on those things. I could have given up on this, but it was nice to have something that I felt kind of was like mine. Thank you so much, friend. It is so good to see you. Appreciate it because I I appreciate it so much. I just thank you for coming and supporting. So yeah, that was, I guess, my biggest takeaway from like the journey to 1,000. It's just not giving up. If you believe that something can be for you, then you have to stick with it. And also, I think it was really good because it gave me something to do. It gave me a hobby, and I really am now a proponent of people having hobbies. I never really thought of that, but this was like my hobby. And then it started to slowly become something that I could see myself doing maybe in the future as a full-time gig. So that's my biggest takeaway, um, to 1,000 subscribers. And now we're here. um, I wanted to share some movie news with you guys that I thought was kind of interesting. So first and foremost, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 is dropping a new trailer tomorrow. And in one of the worst things that I think can happen to society, it's giving people the ability to create fan fiction for a fee. I don't know. I guess I just thought, right, that you couldn't do that. But with books, the IPs, I guess, stick around so long. You have like 100 years before a character in a book can enter the Creative Commons. So for the most part, most things that are fan fiction created for those mediums are protected. The idea that Winnie the Pooh, like these beloved characters, exist in a horror franchise is still mind-boggling. And now we're going to be getting 2 Mickey movies, 2 Mickey killing movies. What is the world coming to? I don't know how to feel about it, but I will probably do a reaction to the trailer. And other news, I'm going to be dropping my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Let me know in the comments if you've had an opportunity to watch Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I saw it this past weekend and have never seen the first one. So that would be really interesting for me to review that, having not seen the first movie. But it has earned $423.5 million at the box office worldwide. Now, let's just put that in perspective. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and its budget. Let's see if we can find out what the budget was for that. The budget was somewhere between 205 and 215. So it did make its budget back. It'll be interesting to see going forward, because I feel like James Gunn hasn't 100% said whether he plans to use Aquaman anymore or whether or not Jason has a job that will continue. I just dropped my Wonka review, and there's an update on that box office. The budget for that was 125 million, and as of 3 hours ago, the box office sits at $571.7 million. So that certainly is not bad. That's not bad. That's 4 times the budget. So is it a movie that you recommend watching before the first one? In terms of Aquaman, I do think it was at my detriment that I did not see the first one, because I'm gonna be honest, like we came in like a smidge past the commercials, the trailers at the beginning, like just a hair, like probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute max. But there were characters whose names I did not know for like the first 30, 45 minutes of the movie. I was literally sitting there like so confused, like, I don't know this person's name whatsoever. And so I haven't seen the first one. I don't know if the first one is really good or not. But I will say my review will be it was mostly enjoyable. It's a comic book movie. It's action. It wasn't horrible. I do think people have really high expectations of comic book movies. Everyone expects every comic book movie to be an Endgame or even like a Deadpool. And with these franchises, I just think it's so many hands in the pot, you're not going to get that. So you have to have some perspective of whether or not you're really expecting that movie. And it's Aquaman. I mean, like, come on, like, let's just be for real for just 2 seconds here. Like, Aquaman wasn't even the most important of the Justice League members. Like, he definitely was not one of the most popular. Like, I don't know. I remember growing up, the old Aquaman just always looked so weird to me. It was one of the old cartoons that I never wanted to look at because it was just so weird. Like, okay, he's Aquaman, he can turn into water. Like, that's weird. So I think for all intents and purposes, what they made out of that character was good and it was interesting. Now I have my thoughts about Jason Momoa, but if you're not bothered by Jason Momoa and his acting, it was fine. And I think you can watch this one without seeing the first one, but it probably would have made the experience a little bit better because like I said, there were characters' names. It's a continuation. It's definitely not like a standalone. I feel like it's a continuation. You can get everything you need to understand this one, but it will take some time. Hopefully that makes some sense. Can we have a moment of silence for 5 years ago, the Super Bowl spot for the Avengers Endgame aired? Moment of silence for that. And also 6 years ago, Black Panther. Moment of silence for that. That's wild to me. Like, that's really wild to think that Black Panther was only 6 years ago, that the world, even though Chadwick was already popular, already famous, the world fell in love with Wakanda, fell in love with Chad. And in that time, we have since like celebrated that movie and then lost him. That is amazing to me, just how fast time moves, but also how slow it moves, because that seems like it should have been a lifetime ago. That seems like 10 years ago. And we've had a whole pandemic since that happened. And then Endgame was right after that. And so the spot for Endgame dropped 5 years ago. That's insanity. As one of my film critic friends, Tom Soros, said on his Twitter page or his X page, that is one movie that never needed a Super Bowl spot and it still would have made every dime of that money that it made. And I completely agree with that. Have you guys seen Argylle? Have you heard about Argylle? Are you planning to watch Argylle? Argylle has only made $18 million on a $200 million budget this weekend. I've not seen it yet. I do want to see it. I just think, gosh, okay, soapbox moment. I do think that these studios have got to figure out a better way to make movies. And every movie does not need to be this expensive. I've been contemplating doing a review, not a review, but a video breaking down what happened with The Color Purple, because I am sad that The Color Purple did not get that much love with the award season going on. It did not do that great with the box office. It's already on, available digitally for download. And I am sad about that. But I also think, like, gosh, like, what are y'all doing with these budgets? And it's one thing if you're casting, these big name stars and they want $20 million a movie or whatever. Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. But also, let's make some new stars. Let's get some people who are still trying to carve themselves out an identity. And some of these movies don't need to be this expensive. Like, you can have good movies and they not be this expensive. I think about oh my gosh, what am I blanking on? What is the name of that movie? Someone's gonna remember it in the chat. Dwayne Perkins. Why can't I think of that name of that movie? My gosh. It's gonna come to me. The Blackening. Y'all don't judge me, okay? Do not judge me. The Blackening was made on a $5 million budget, and it was such a good movie. It only made 18 million at the box office, but that's really all it needed to do. It made its budget back and then some. So it still made the studio money. It was only made on a $5 million budget. And I would venture to say, going forward, if they are given the opportunity for a sequel, it will do better, because a lot of people probably stayed away from the movie because they did not understand the concept, or they didn't know who it was for. Even Black audience members probably didn't watch it because they're like, The Blackening, what's that? So now that more people will know about it, next time it will probably even make more money. We just got to stop having, every movie cannot be 200 million. It just can't. Everything doesn't need to be green screen. Everything doesn't need to be CGI. We need to get back to some practical effects. Can we get back to production and stage and craft? Every movie, there should only be, I don't know, I just feel like back in the day, you would have maybe 6 big blockbusters a year at most. Now we have a big blockbuster movie, or at least a budgeted movie of like $100+ million every other week at least. And there's just no way for audiences, film lovers, to keep up with that kind of pace. It's hard for someone who gets access to movies or knows how to get access to some movies for free to keep up with that pace, let alone your common audience member who maybe can afford to go see 1 or 2 movies a month at best. So they're not going to all be blockbusters. And I just feel like we just got to stop. Somebody has to pump the brakes. Somebody has to pump the brakes and say, stop. Let's just not do this. Every movie should not require 6 months of on-site production. You know, it's a script. The script is 90 minutes, 90 minutes. Yeah. 90 minutes, 120 minutes max. Why is it taking 6 months to make a movie once the actors are on set? Why are we paying people $20 million for a movie that will be 3 or 6 months of their life? It just has to stop a little bit. It just has to stop. It's too much. But that's sad for that movie, because that was a big cast. A lot of big names, all of them vying to get paid, probably, between $2 and $5 million. And now that movie has not done well at all. And we'll see if there's like a second week push. But next week is Super Bowl. So that's not great. Likewise, and I'll probably say this in my follow-up to the Color Purple video, but Color Purple should have come out in February. The Color Purple should not have come out in December. And I get what they were trying to do. I would not have rushed for award season. I would have just went ahead and pushed it back. I don't know who these filmmakers are talking to, who are in the focus groups, but like, somebody wasn't thinking. Someone didn't look at the trends and say, yes, Black movies can be successful, but what are the trends we're seeing? We're seeing trends that, like, what really pushes movies is when you can attach them to a moment, to a movement, to something. Black Panther came out, and it came out in February, and everybody threw on their African garb and they went. And of course, other people went to go see that movie as well because it was a Marvel movie, but people went out in droves. Ron Clark and his school down there in Atlanta took the whole school 2-3 times. People rented out and took the buses and took schools of people to go see it in their African gear, in their dashikis. It was a movement that was behind it. And then, you know, we lost Chad, and Wakanda Forever came out, and it was, we're going and we're celebrating Chad. Wear your white. We're going to a funeral. We're going to a memorial. And it was a movement of people going, and it didn't make what the first one made, but there was a movement behind it. Oprah tried to make The Color Purple a movement right before the strikes really took off, and they were able to promote it. And it was like, people were saying, hey, wear your purple, wear your purple. We're going to go see The Color Purple, da, 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 da. But then the strikes happened, and promotion was able to be died down, and people really weren't able to generate that push behind it. And it's the holidays, and even though they were thinking, oh, people can go with their family, I would have said, nah, let's pump the brakes on this. We don't have anything major other than Book of Clarence coming out around February. Let's push it to February. Black History Month, people will go see it. Then they could have paraded Fantasia Taraji, Hallie, everybody could have been on every talk show in creation. Month of February. Lift every voice and sing. That's you. Go. Fantasia, we're going to get you on the Super Bowl. Let's call Jay-Z on the phone. Get you to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Boom. Bap. Let's go. I just don't know, like, what was the thought? What was the thought? Hi, RNG. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. And I had such a good time yesterday with Dragon Slayer. I wasn't able to say goodbye because I was at the vet while I was there, but thank you so much. If you guys love retro movies, if you love things that came out in like the 70s, 80s, sometimes she'll drop one in there from before, especially fantasy, Ian, this is who you need to follow, okay? Anything dragons, anything with swords, magic, she is definitely your girl. Great channel over there. Thank you so much. One of my original inspirations as well, for doing this, and for thinking that I could stick with it. And probably one of the reasons why I didn't quit, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit. One day I'm gonna like be up there. It'll be like Retro Nerd Girl and Pay Her Weight and all the channels that I aspire to be like. So I just thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I mean, these studios really are gonna have to come back to the table, and I don't know what their bottom end is, because to the outside looking in, it just looks like they're not being as successful, and people are complaining and people aren't enjoying the art as much. And I think if they would just scale things back, they could get back to making the movies people really want to see. But I feel as though everything feels like it has to have this big budget. And also, there's so much, everybody has to have their streaming service. There's so much of everything. It's so hard to keep up with stuff nowadays that I don't know. It's really hard to keep up with things. No, I'm blushing. I will say one of the things we are seeing with all the streaming services is it's really going to be important to people to start investing in physical media for the things that they love, because these streaming services will snatch a show off of the platform in a second, cancel it in a second. You get 2 seasons to make it work, and if you don't make it work in 2 seasons, it's gone. And even if it was working, it's still going to be gone. Oh my word. Okay, some more news. A new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in the works. Wow. That's something. Okay, so the Godzilla and King versus King Kong movie I was talking about earlier that I was saying I was excited to see. It's Godzilla versus King Kong: The New Empire, and it clocks in at an hour and 54 minutes long. So that looks pretty interesting. Oh, and Paul Bettany has confirmed that he is returning to the MCU, which means we are going to be seeing Vision again in something. I don't know if they're doing another season of WandaVision, um, but I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. We can make that work. And of course, the biggest movie, I guess the biggest movie that I didn't talk about that is on the verge of being released is Dune. What is the release date for Dune anyway? Let's look that up. Dune 2 is going to be released, Dune Part 2, and the release date for that is coming. It was so weird taking the kids to see Wonka and then walking out and seeing Timothy Chalamet on the poster for Dune. March 1st. Wow. That's something. I saw this TikTok and it was talking about because they're on the press run for it. Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Timothy Chalamet. It was two TikTok videos that I saw that if I can find them, I will share them out on the community feed. So make sure you subscribe so you can get them. But one was talking about Austin Butler's new accent being unveiled because, of course, everyone famously kind of digs into him for when he was in Elvis and he adopted the Elvis accent and then could not let it go. But they said his new accent has been unveiled. And then the other one was someone saying that they are just off of the vibes on the press run. They feel as though those four people do not like each other at all. They basically said, hey, young people in the movie, you're going to start the press run. We're sending you out first. Like the rest of us got families and kids, so you need to go now. And they're basically saying that it doesn't feel as though the vibe is vibing. Mostly what I've seen is Florence Pugh and Zendaya together, and then Timothy Chalamet and Austin Butler together. And of course, Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet have been friends for a while and are good friends. And Austin Butler and Florence Pugh are the newbies, and so they're kind of coming into this. So, but Florence just feels like one of those girls who's like, these are my coworkers. That's my coworker. I don't like clock in, clock out kind of vibe that I get from her. So, but if you go over to Pay Your Weight, Sharana did a really, really, really good interview with Florence Pugh and Zendaya that I thought was really, really well done. And that was exciting to see. What are some other questions? Let's talk a little bit. So we talked about the road to 1,000. And while I wait for you guys to drop some questions into the chat, let me know. I'm an open book. Let me know anything that you want to know, anything you want to ask. I was going to say if there's anything exciting on my bookshelf that you want me to show off, I will show that off. But I will say that the things that I'm most looking forward to, I think right now, are actually in the realm of shows. So I'm attempting to watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith right now. I've also started watching Expats on Amazon Video. So I will hopefully be doing some reviews or recaps because we haven't done recaps in a while. And I was bad and lazy and did not finish the Queen Charlotte one. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, people. Please forgive me. So I will definitely be looking into doing recaps for Expats and recaps perhaps for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I got to get past episode 1 first and see if I like it in order to do recaps for that. But Abbott Elementary, I really wish I would have started doing recaps for Abbott Elementary, but I've never done a sitcom recap. I don't even know how to go about doing a sitcom recap. But it is probably one of my favorite shows on TV, and it comes back on the 7th, I think, for an hour-long episode. I'm so excited about that. Oh, a question from the chat. What is your biggest struggle as a content creator, and what is the easiest part for me? I think my biggest struggle is just the time. I get in my head, I sit down, I'll try to like work on like making my thumbnails, figuring out what I'm going to do. And then it's just like finding the time to sit down and either like watch the movie, go see it, do whatever, and then sitting down and recording it. And especially with having like a full-time job, it's just like finding that time. And also, I don't know if y'all realize this, especially with like Messy Movie Mondays, but it is everything. It takes everything in my body to stay awake during that like 9 to 11 time slot, because I'll be so tired. So that is like the hardest thing, because my best time, I'm a morning person. And if anybody in the chat says otherwise, they're lying. I am a morning person, but I have my best surge of energy during like the early time of the day. And that is often the time that I am least available to do anything. And that is probably the hardest part. And then also getting over like being weirded out by hearing myself talk on video, and also telling people that I do this and that I talk on video, because then they, like, oh, let me look. And I'm like, no, don't look in front of me. Stop. Pretend. The easiest part for me, what is the easiest part? I wouldn't know if I say that this is the easiest part, but I love the learning aspect of this. It feels like being in school again, and I love being a student. So the part where I go and, go to like Nick Nimmin and all of those creators who talk about like how to make videos and how to make content and how to be a YouTuber, and like I'm learning and like I'm figuring things out. I love that part of it. And when I know that people are like watching and engaging and we're watching something together and I feel like people are vibing, then it becomes super easy. Like that run that I did for a little while with like This Is Us and Handmaid's Tale, where I had people like in the comments all the time talking. Oh my gosh, it was like, okay, Tuesday night, This Is Us is off. Cue up the screen. Let's go ahead and go right into this. And I was like vibing. But when I don't know, when it's just a regular review and I don't know if people will engage, that's hard. But yeah. Yes, oh my gosh. If I could, like, just the aspect of like being able to sit down and learn this and do it and spend time tinkering around with it. Like if I could just do that and like somehow get money off of just doing that, no matter how many views it was, I would love that. I would really, really, really love that. And I love this format because it's been so hard for me to get back into writing. And so even though I did try to start doing like some print reviews so that I could maybe turn the review part into a job, this is so much easier and so much more accessible, even though the editing and everything is really, really super hard. So yeah, I would say that's my biggest struggle and the easiest or the most fun part. Yeah. That was a great question. Thank you for asking that. So what's next? So the next thing for the channel, and you guys will have to say a little prayer for me, is I watched a video of a young man. He has to be like 21 now, super young. And he did a thing where he posted a video for 30 days straight just to kind of like see what he could learn about himself, about making content, all of those things. And that is kind of going to be my goal. So I'm counting yesterday with like dropping Wonka. Wait a second. What time did I drop Wonka? I don't even know if I can count that. It was late. Oh, I can't count. Okay. Because I dropped Wonka technically after midnight. So I have to count today, and then this can count, I guess. But I'm not gonna count Saturday because I was still editing late last night. That's not fair. I was hoping to count yesterday. Um, so I'm going to do basically 30 days. So from February 4th until March 4th, or whatever that would be. And I'm going to do, oh, it's a leap year. So it might be March 3rd. 30 days of video content, whether it's a trailer reaction, whether it's a live, whether it's a long form, short form, something, but just doing something for 30 days straight, just to get into the habit of like prioritizing the time and hopefully getting my watch hours back up, because they were up and then they went down. They were up, of course, because I was doing a show. I had This Is Us. And since I haven't taken on any shows recently, and it's so hard. I will say that is really, really hard for me as a movie and TV reviewer. The way in which shows are released now with the binge model, that is super hard for me. I do not do well with that. I do so much better with like one day a week drops. When This Is Us was out, Handmaid's Tale. So if I can get back to doing recaps, that would be great, because I do miss that time together. I feel like that's when you get the most bonding time with the audience and with us as like a fam over here, is with the recaps, because we're all watching kind of the same thing together. So once I get that going again, I'm excited for that. But yeah, so I'm going to take that challenge and I'm going to see. Hopefully I won't drive myself crazy doing it. And I don't know that, what the outcome will be. I'll maybe do an update and say like what I learned after making 30 days of content straight through. The other thing that I'm doing, and I'll maybe let you guys vote. I was gonna start a secondary channel and do more video essays, but I didn't know if I wanted to put it over here on this channel or whether I wanted to put it on a secondary channel. So I've been working for like the past week scripting a retrospective of Living Single, the sitcom, and was searching like YouTube, and no one has really done a Living Single retrospective. There's like a couple of like 5-minute videos, but nothing that is a deep dive about the show. So I started scripting that. I have no promises. This is literally going to be my first video ever that I've done of that nature, where it will not be a talking head video, but it will be footage and images from the show, from interviews that the cast has done, from other things, like images of that. But I really wanted to explore that. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to put that here or if I should launch that with a second channel, because it's not going to be a talking head video. And that's so different from stuff that I've done here. So I'll probably ask you guys, I'll poll you guys and see what you guys think. If you're willing to sub to another channel for that, then maybe I'll move it over there, just because it's going to be so different. But if it goes well, then I'd like to do some more of those, especially because I see them all the time with shows that were really big. Friends, you can find 50,000 of them for Friends, for Gilmore Girls, things like that. But no one's really done some of the shows that like I grew up with, like Living Single, Rock. Would love to do one for Rock. And also kind of getting into some romantic comedy stuff and break down some romantic comedies. So that's some of what's to come, what's to come for the channel. And it will all be up to you guys whether or not, we go in that direction or not. So yeah, that's what's next. Let's see. I'm getting some alerts. I have to share this, guys, with you. Okay, wait a second. Let's see if I can pull it up. Because one of my friends, I was looking for some more movie news to share, and one of my friends just posted this on his X page. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's so tiny, but it says, "Big congrats to my dear friend Real Her for reaching 1K subscribers on her YouTube channel. I absolutely love this for you. And for everyone else, if you haven't followed her here and subscribed to her channel, what are you even doing?" I love that. That's what made me tear up and cry. That's amazing. I have to make sure I tell Tom thank you so much. So yeah, we have the Oscars coming up, and I still have not done my Oscar video. I'm trying to get through. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get through the rest of the Best Picture nominees that I haven't seen, because I still haven't seen I still haven't watched Okay, so in my defense, I did start it. I did start Oppie. I just didn't finish it. So I have to finish watching Oppenheimer. And I think there's like 2 more movies that I have to watch. And then I'll be ready to make my predictions. That being said, I can predict. I can predict what happened. And that is one thing I am going to be doing. So I think tomorrow, aside from Messy Movie Mondays, either tomorrow or Tuesday, I am going to drop like a video that kind of talks about the Oscars and breaks down how the Oscars work. Because what I realize in a lot of the discourse around Barbie and Barbie getting snubbed is that people don't realize or don't contextualize how the Oscars works. As a quick little preview for you guys here, in order to nominate for Best Director, it only goes to the directors. You have to be a voting member in that category as a director. And to become a voting member in that category, you have to have directed at least 3 feature films, one within the last 10 years, and you have to have been nominated for a Best Picture. Your picture, one of your works, should have been nominated for Best Director or Best Picture, I think is what it is, in order for you to be invited onto the boards. And then you can nominate people. So think about how small that voting pool is. And then think about the fact that you are networking within your friend group. What are you likely going to be doing? You're going to be nominating people who you're friends with, because you don't have to watch those movies until it goes to the vote. Then you're supposed to watch them, but you can certainly like hear the buzz. You can know what, no one's going to say that you nominated somebody. You're going to say, oh, my friend has a movie that's out and I've heard some good things about it. Maybe I've seen it, maybe I haven't, and put their name down. And then enough of those people's names get put in the pot. And then after that, now you have to watch it. So think about how easy it is to get bypassed because people network and are friends with. So I'm going to do a video kind of breaking that down, because that's been like, that's that learning curve stuff where it's just like, oh, this is fun. Like learning how this works. It's not fun to find out how it works and to see how maybe it disproportionately impacts certain groups, but it's fun to understand, to learn it and understand, like, this is why this is happening. And this is why maybe we're not seeing the change that we're needing to see. And what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do different? But I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up. I just wanted to say once again, thank you all so much for your support. Like I said, I really appreciate it. It has been such a journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been amazing. It has been such a source of pride and joy and respite during all of the craziness of life. This has gotten me through a pandemic, and getting to watch movies with you guys and talk movies with you guys brings me so much joy. Um, if you stumble upon this video and post and you haven't liked and subscribed, what are you doing? Like, hello, let's be friends, let's be family, let me know, guys, in the comments, or um back in, post what you're watching and what you want to discuss in the next video. Tomorrow, we are going to be watching When Love Kills Together, which is currently streaming for free on Tubi. And it stars Little Mama and Lance Gross. So if you like Lance Gross from Tyler Perry, House of Pain, then maybe you'll enjoy this movie. But we'll be watching that at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I look forward to watching that with you guys. Thank you all so much for showing up here today. Love you guys so much. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, toodles.